Diana Potora, welcome to our podcast and thank you so much for giving up your time today.
Ray, thank you so much for having me and for inviting me. Such a great pleasure. And the project that we're doing today is actually so close to my heart. So I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you for saying that. And I know we've spoken before and you're a fantastic speaker, so I look forward to this chat. So first of all, this is video one. And what I'd like to explore here is your background, really, your personal journey from when you were a kid and what that was like, your education, your hopes and aspirations, what you liked, what you wanted to do, maybe even your dreams. What did you dream of doing one day? So tell me about who you are, your personal journey.
So my name is Diana Potora, and I am a very passionate businesswoman. And believe it or not, that was my dream. I mean, it's just random because I
Really?
call myself, yeah, I call myself entrepreneur. But I remember being very young and having like my dad's briefcase, which is like a hard case briefcase, and putting a lot of like just papers that didn't make sense into it and walking around and pretending to be a businesswoman.
Wow.
My mom and dad always did side hustle businesses, main businesses, side hustle businesses. They had their job, they had, so I always lived around, you know, how to make things from nothing and how to, you know, how to create a kind of a better life for yourself, really.
How
So
young, can I sorry to interrupt, how young were you when you felt like that?
I remember being just like 6, 7. That's
Wow.
that's how young I remember being, and really being bossing everybody around with my briefcase, really, you know, pretending to be important. Um, so that's I kind of that's kind of how far I relate with wanting to be something in business. Um, Alongside that, I am a really passionate mother. I do everything with passion. I'm a passionate mother. I'm a passionate wife. I have two amazing kids. Well, Eva Jane, she's 9, and Eli Jack is 5. That are really part of, you know, some of the changes that have happened in my life, and you know how probably even I kind of had to think about creating something else for myself
Yeah.
after they were born. uh, we really love traveling. We do like yearly road trips to Europe, so we like exploring cultures and places that are not really you know, motivated by just an all-inclusive holiday kind of so we like to
Yeah.
go to little places around Europe, where we can get by car. Really love cultures. We love doing activities that educate. Eva Jane likes exploring like the old ruins. That's something that she gets from her dad, to be fair, not from me. So but we love exploring the food side as well. uh, and we like to say that we like creating our own journey. So that's one of the things that my new business has kind of opened for us, and we love being together. And that kind of probably sums up me now with my little family. Uh, I am originally from Romania, and I grew up in a very in a food loving family, and Romania culturally is very into homemade meals. I mean, definitely westernized over the years, and there's, you know, there's more into that. But when I was born, we were actually in the communism era, so
Right.
everything was very limited, very limited resources. So making delicious meal from kind of nothing really was a skill in itself. So you kind of develop that, you know, that kind of mindset where you can actually make food from low items, from not a lot of resources, and with herbs and spices that are readily available, because there was no sauces or, you know, pre-made stuff
Right.
available in my early childhood. And when we think about food, and I know I was telling you about me with the briefcase, one of my memories. I have another really strong memory, and it kind of all makes sense now. But um, I remember being very, very young and my great grandma being a wonderful cook, homemade cook. She never had a business or anything like that, but she was making pasta constantly for a family of friends. And I remember that feeling that I would get when I was spending it with her. I mean, I thought I was helping her. Probably I was just kind of, playing with the dough, but I want to say that's where my passion for food probably kind of started with with me and my great grandmother working on the dough table making
That,
pasta.
that's amazing. Well, we've done a lot of these videos, but no one's ever told me about getting a briefcase at the age of 6. So you're definitely a first. I think briefcases seem to have gone out of fashion. So well done you for actually
I
doing
know.
that. And when you
I
were
know. Do,
thinking,
do, you
go
know
on.
what I remember? I remember my dad even taking, because the briefcase was like a woman's handbag these days. What I remember of it anyway. I just remember he even putting his lunch in there. Like the wraps and everything. It was like paperwork, but also everything that he needed for the day. So kind of that's kind of how everything is in my mind combined with, the essential of a good day at work, and
Yeah.
food was there too.
Oh, that's brilliant. I've had all kinds of briefcases in my life, but I never put my sandwiches in them. But there we go. That's a good idea. Uh, when you were 6 years old, you had a briefcase, you were thinking about being almost then being a business person. Were you thinking about the business being to do with food?
No.
You weren't.
No, so no. I mean, food. I always enjoyed cooking. All my life, I was cooking at home. I kind of took over like our family meals at home before, as soon as I could be allowed to play with knives and be around the fire. And my dad loved cooking too. So we experimented with food quite a lot in our family. But I never, because back home culturally was always, in order to be successful, you needed to be in a bank, or you needed to be an engineer, or you was never
Right.
encouraged cooking as a way of, following your dreams or building a career. So
Oh,
it's always something that I consider to be like, something that I do as a hobby.
right.
The only thing that where food came up was when I retire, I would love to write a cookbook. So that was the only kind of side thing where cooking was kind of in the
Right.
background in my mind, that when I have time and I retire and I've got nothing else to do, I would put all these recipes that I already was writing things down as I was making them up. I would put all these recipes into a cookbook and sell that. That was kind of the only business thing that was in my mind around food.
Okay, but that's still pretty big, isn't it? Aspiring to become an author at that young age, that's pretty amazing too. So tell me about your education. What, were you a good student? Did you enjoy it? What were your favorite subjects?
I loved school, which I can see that in my daughter. So that's quite nice to see. On the other side, the little boy, he's really clever, but he's just waking up every morning saying, "I don't want to go to school." But
Oh, okay.
I loved school. I loved math. That was kind of my subject. I was always competing. I got quite a few involved in quite a few local and national awards, and I was really passionate to have a voice. I was always part of some sort of group in school to try and uh, make changes for the better. Like,
Right.
so um, school was very much part of my life every day. There was back home. There was a lot of pressure to be the best you can be in school,
Okay.
culturally. So I grew up with that, really wanting to be the best. So I was always at the top of my game, which,
Right.
in hindsight, is probably put a lot of pressure, and, things going on. But at the same time, it's probably prepared me for what was coming,
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
built some of the things that I work with today. Um, I ended up going to uni back home, and because I could not convince my mom to let me go just to business. I wanted to do business school. She wanted me to do engineering, so I kind of ended
Oh,
up doing both.
oh, really?
Um,
Good grief.
because I mean, I believe it or not, I started them both. I did 3 years, and then in 2005, me and my husband, currently my husband, he was my boyfriend then, we enrolled on the work and travel program
Okay,
with um, with a company, and there was a choice of England and America at that point.
okay.
And my dad was like, just in case you like it, just go England because it's closer. so so that's kind of how we ended up here in 2005, doing our 6 months of work and travel experience. Because English was our second language back home. We studied it since we were in first grade. Um, it was always kind of the American way, so we really wanted to do the British way. We used to study English My Love. I don't know if that was an English manual in here, but it was called English My Love, and it was quite eye-opening to come in here and kind of hear everybody talking. Everything that we could read in, and getting
Yeah.
that experience. So that's when my journey started in UK, 2005. And we came with a plan of 6 months to just to practice our English, and we're celebrating 20 years this year.
Hooray! Oh, that's fantastic.
Yay!
And that's England's gain and America's loss. So, well done for
Yeah, oh
choosing.
God, imagine. Don't even want to think about being in America right now.
Well, that's true. The world is in a strange place at the moment, isn't it? Anyway, we won't talk about that today. So,
No politics.
you were talking about doing business and engineering. So when did that stop and did you concentrate on one?
No, I've done the both till we came here,
Oh,
and then
oh, you did both. You carried on doing both.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I must say, I think that I kind of enjoyed the engineering bit as well because it was more math than the business.
Right.
I probably enjoyed more definitely the first three. I probably enjoyed more the engineering than the business
Right.
initially. I think business has given me a lot of tools, but they were all quite theoretical because you weren't
Yeah.
actually running a business, so everything can be quite it can be quite theoretical. Whereas engineering was way more mathematical, way more logical. So I feel like, exploring that was really a good thing, even though I didn't agree with it initially. But because back home, the tradition is our family pays for our studies, we kind of have to comply a bit, if you wish.
Sure. All right. So, while you were doing all this studying, what was in your head about what you were going to do when you stopped studying? What kind of career were you going to have, or didn't you know?
I think I had being a bank manager always in my mind. That was as I grew into, and obviously being influenced by what was kind of the way to go when I was in that stage of choosing.
Okay.
I kind of wanted to go business, bank manager way.
What was the career at the beginning? What did you do? How did you earn your money?
So when our work and travel program was around we worked in Manchester Airport, um, in the hospitality industry. So I started with Burger King. I remember my first few months, hating it all. I've never worked. I've never worked so hard in my life. Like I've never worked before, which in a way was good and bad. Like it was good when I didn't work, but it was bad because it definitely didn't prepare me for the working life.
Yeah.
Um, so we did that, and then after a few months, there was I think it was somebody we used to work for a select service partner, which was operating in many airports, and one of the head of something in there, I can't even remember what he was doing, kind of noticed me and kind of my drive, and he put me in an office job to help me organize some events.
Oh,
And I
wow.
think that was probably, I was working with the lady that was actually, she was the events manager, but I think that was kind of the turning point in terms of, you know what, I could actually do more in here, and I can see myself,
Right.
you know, growing with this. um and I think we definitely enjoyed um the freedom of earning cash, and you know,
Yes.
being your own, kind of your own boss at home.
Right.
um so then we kind of, they asked, do you want to stay another 6 months, and then we did. And then I think we joined Romania joined EU, and it was kind of okay for everybody to stay. So we
Right.
kind of, it was just everything kind of felt like it was coming right in a place, if you wish.
Right.
um and then I moved to Costa Coffee, where I spent 12 years.
Wow.
um
Long time.
that's yeah, that's where I met some fantastic people that, you know, kind of helped me develop and given me loads of feedback, and really wanting, you know, wanting um to show the sides of me, what I can do and what I can do, and recognizing, and also coaching me where I needed
Right.
to be coached on.
Okay.
It was hard, it wasn't easy, because being in a different country, and trying building everything from nothing is
Yeah,
quite,
of course.
yeah, quite hard.
Do you seem to have had a good business head on? You were very numerate. You knew what you were doing. So when you were working, especially for Costa Coffee, because that was a long time, did you have aspirations to, well, I can manage this store and make things a little bit more
Yeah,
efficient and make more money?
yeah,
Is that what you were thinking?
yeah, all the time. I was a supervisor 6 months into it. I was assistant. I think by year two I was a store manager. So
Really? By
you
year
know,
two?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I was really, really driven, and it's so easy to be driven when you're young. To be fair, I didn't recognize it then, but I definitely recognize it now. You know, like you can actually do what your mind can do, because you know, you're you're so young, and there's no other bits around you to stop you. So
Yeah.
I was working really hard, but really working on, you know, on building my skills and taking on feedback. And I kind of wanted to be an area manager for many years. That was kind of my next step.
Right.
um and I ended up being an area manager, I think by year 6 or 7. No, by year, sorry, by year 10. That's kind of what I wanted. By year 10 I ended up being an area manager.
Okay. And were the people in Costa Coffee who mentored you that you thought were good? You learned from them, and that's how you grew, or did you do it all by yourself?
With people, I mean, you know, one of the things in all my journey, people have played a vital role, you know, in all my journey. And um definitely had some really good people that have shown me so many good things that helped me grow and develop. But I also learned so much from some of the people that were not, you know, necessarily being role
Okay.
models. But you know, there's a mixture of everything when you work in
Yeah.
a business. And as they grow, and I grew very much, you know, when I first started in Costa, they were making three coffees, like americano, cappuccino, and you know, latte. And
Yeah.
by the time I left, we were making all these fancy drinks. So you know, I grew up
Right.
with Costa Coffee in a way. So along the way there was a lot of changes, so you see a lot of people. So every single journey has taught me so much, and I've built not only my business skill, um, and you know, really putting in practice what I've learned in school, but really my resilience, my determination, you know, uh, my drive. So it's been instrumental. And sometimes I'll learn things that, well, when I'm an area, when I'm a store manager, I don't want to be that, or I don't want to do this. You know, it's
Right.
things that you don't want to.
Okay. So you learned from observing people doing it the wrong way. Well, the
Mhm.
wrong way in your mind.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's fantastic. Okay. So when you were working at Costa Coffee, especially, there was obviously a lot of interaction with customers. with the public. How important were they in the way you were thinking about the way you could maybe manage the things that Costa Coffee should be doing that they weren't? Were customers really important to you?
100%. They were, and they continue to be. And I mean, Costa wasn't necessarily 100% customer focused initially, but it grew up to be such a loved brand by customers. And one of the things that I've learned while in the business was putting customers at the heart of everything you do.
Yeah,
And the minute people start to understand that, everything shifts. Because people make or break businesses, people make or break you. It's so important to build strong relationships, build the community that that you want to be part of. And you couldn't do it on your own. People were instrumental in both my personal growth, my career growth, and people continue to be now one of the most important support that I have.
right. Well, this has been an absolutely fascinating first video, getting to know you. I can't wait to get to the next video and find out how you got into the entrepreneurial side of food. But the first question I'm going to ask you when we do start the next video is, have you still got the briefcase? And do you take it to work every day? But anyway, don't tell me now. Tell me. So, Diana, thanks so much for the first video. Looking forward to seeing you in the next one.
Thank you so much for having me. It has been a pleasure, and such a great opportunity to share a bit of me with you.
Thanks, Diana. See you in a while.
Bye.